Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. This UCF program and Coach Gus Malzahn are not playing any games, landing another commitment in four-star safety Jaylen Heyward from the state of Florida was committed to the Georgia Bulldogs, takes his visit to UCF, decommits from Georgia, and now he's committed to this UCF program that has absolutely been on a heater on the recruiting trail, and we've talked about this. Power 5 UCF, this is a different program, and you're starting to see it reflect in the talent acquisition. Going to dive into Jaylen Heyward, what he brings to this UCF Knights program, and then we're just going to talk a little bit about where this UCF program is going. This has been one of the more passionate fan bases you've seen over the last couple months, and they got a lot of reasons to be excited. Now, before we do, again, just want to say thank you to you guys, and especially the UCF fans. The support that you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. Really one of the underrated fan bases you see across the country, extremely active on Twitter. You guys have supported the boys in a big way. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate y'all locking in with the boys. And let's talk a little Jaylen Heyward now. Before we get into Jaylen Heyward, talking about what he's going to bring to this UCF defense, which, I mean, he's a difference maker. I want to talk about this program and where it's going. And we've kind of highlighted just the fact alone that they got the Big 12 patch on their jersey. You're seeing that hold a lot of weight. This UCF program has the fan base. They have the facilities. They have the winning culture. They really just didn't have that Power 5 asterisk next to their name. Now that they do, they're starting to compete with other programs in the state of Florida, the other Big 3. I call it a Big 4 now. Florida, Miami, Florida State. And you're seeing them even go up against the Georgia Bulldogs and win recruiting battles. That's where it starts. This UCF program has that winning culture. They have a phenomenal coach in Coach Gus Malzahn. Now they have that Power 5 stigma, and now you're starting to see the talent acquisition meaningfully improve. And if you're a UCF fan, you have to be extremely excited about the future for this program entering into the Big 12. Now, to get to Jaylen Heyward, from what I read, the highest rated recruit ever in the modern era for UCF. Jaylen Heyward is one of my favorite prospects in this 2024 class. And the reason why, what he brings to the table, specifically what position he's going to play, I think is one of the most underrated and most important positions on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's going to play kind of that box safety, kind of nickelback defender. He has the ability to play boundary corner, free safety, center field safety, but I think he thrives most when he's around the football, getting downhill, tackling in space, getting behind the line of scrimmage. And you talk about this position on the defensive side of the ball, and this is where college football is going. It's where the NFL is going. How much speed can you have on the field with still being able to stop the run? As programs and offenses try to spread you out, throw the football all around the yard, you need to have the speed to kind of cover all blades of grass on the field. But what you also need to be able to do is have that speed, be able to stop the run. And Jaylen Heyward as a chess piece on the defense, I think fits perfectly with what you're trying to do on the defensive side of the ball. Now, getting into the film, like this is where it gets exciting. You're going to see a guy just used ever. You're going to see him on the offensive side of the ball. You're going to see him on the defensive side of the ball. Runs a 10.6, 800-meter dash time. So very, very athletic. Again, playing boundary corner here, and you have a lot of confidence that he could play boundary corner. But when it's time to fire downhill and be physical, Jaylen Heyward certainly has that ability. Again, getting downhill, tackling in space. This is kind of why I like Jaylen Heyward as that nickel, because I want him in the box. I want him being able to come in and run support because he has no problem tackling in space, being physical, but also has that athleticism to deal with wide receivers in that nickel position as well. And so Jaylen Heyward as a chess piece, you're right. You're going to see him play a lot of boundary corner, but you're going to see him play safety as well. His coverage ability, absolutely there. It's a really exciting prospect that, again, I kind of view as a chess piece. Physical at the catch point, has really good long speed, has that length, has that physicality. If you're the UCF Knights, you think you got a really, really good chess piece on the defensive side of the ball. And he's also a phenomenal athlete on the offensive side of the ball as a running back. Now, this is where I think it gets fun for UCF fans. And this is just taking a look at where UCF is as a program, a top 35 class nationally. It's probably going to move to the top 30 once they factor in Jaylen Heyward's commitment. But I kind of want to talk about the recruiting battles that you're seeing won by UCF in this 2024 cycle. And you saw glimpses of it last year in 2023 with guys like John Walker, but taking a look at who they have committed, Frankie Arthur beating out SEC program like Missouri, beating out the Oregon Ducks, a premier team in the Pac-12 for one of the top running backs in the class. Kylan Fox was one of the more sought-after programs, Florida State, Georgia, Miami. He had offers from pretty much everywhere in that SEC and ACC area. UCF wins that recruiting battle too. You can say a lot of the same things for guys like Walt Claire Flynn Jr. from the state of Georgia, Stacey Gage from St. Thomas Aquinas, also a very highly touted guy, a top guy on a lot of people's lists like Florida State, the University of Florida. Qua Birdsong, one of my favorite linebackers in terms of the length and how good he is in space. This UCF program, you're starting to see the hype on the field, the winning on the field now combined with that Power 5 stigma. They're starting to win these recruiting battles against top programs, and that's where it starts, right? I guess that's the second in the list, right? The first start is the culture, the winning culture that's been established, and any college football fan who follows the sport knows UCF's been winning a lot of football games the last 5 to 10 years. What's the second? What's that next step? How do you take that next step as a program? You're starting to recruit, right? You take that culture and then you put it on the recruiting trail and you start getting more talent. That's the phase that we're seeing for UCF right now. They put it together on the field. They start stacking some of these recruiting classes where they're winning against Georgia, Florida, Florida State on the recruiting trail. That's where it really gets special, and that's where you have to be extremely excited about where this UCF program is going. But don't get it twisted. I want to go back to Jaylen Heyward. Feel like we haven't highlighted him enough. This was a top prospect on Georgia, was committed to Georgia. Gus Malzahn and the UCF Knights come in late and are able to land the commitment of Jaylen Heyward, the highest committed guy UCF has ever landed in the modern recruiting era. Massive news for the UCF Knights and a program that you have to be absolutely so excited about where it's going. Again, appreciate the support you guys have shown. And if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.